This is my first. I wish I'd thought of that, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be a little bit like a birthday party. You invite 400 people, only 10 people turn up, and they all buy you beer, and they're really nice to you. So yeah, I'll be in the bar afterwards. But this is quite a big deal for me, talking to all of you guys about fundraising. I'm coming from the point of view of a street fundraiser. And I've worked in street fundraising now for the last kind of 4 years. And I think it's an incredible industry because it really allows you to see the behaviors and motivations of people right in front of your eyes. You get to see kind of what inspires people, why they don't want to donate, because believe me, they tell you. But also it gives you great opportunities like this, because I think it breaks down barriers. Whoever is walking down that street at that time, you can stop, you can have a chat to. As long as they'll give you 2 minutes of their day, you can speak to them. So the reason why there's a picture of me and Roy Hodgson on the screen there is because that situation actually taught me a lot about fundraising, and it was because I stopped him. He was actually the West Bromwich Albion manager at the time. Not a particularly famous person, but I still wanted a photo with him from the Midlands. And he told me that he didn't really have time and he didn't really kind of want to talk about the charity. So I let him go, and I kind of thought in my mind, well, this is a guy that probably doesn't really want to kind of engage with fundraisers at this moment in time. And boy, was I wrong, because I woke up the very next morning and I went to the shop to buy a coffee, and Roy Hodgson's face was plastered on every single newspaper across the UK. And it was that moment in time when I found out Roy Hodgson was the next England manager. So I think I had interrupted his last kind of casual walk through the town of Lichfield, which was quite nice. But it really taught me that actually timing's everything, and it wasn't the right time to kind of to talk to Roy about shelter. So today what I'm talking about is payroll giving. It's something that I've really heard about, a lot about over the last few years. As a fundraiser, you kind of hear about everyone's different kind of forms of giving, and people like to tell you about what they're doing. And for me, it was something that was really interesting because it happened in an office environment. I don't think I could work in an office. I think I can't really sit still for longer than a minute. And for me, kind of when I was standing at the mercy of nature with kind of the rain and the snow and the sleet, looking at those offices, I was kind of a little bit envious, but just because of their heaters. And for me, kind of payroll giving would have given me the opportunity to combine the both, to raise money for charities, but also be in a nice warm office. So it started in 1987, well over 25 years ago, and it's actually been able to produce £1.4 billion for different causes, which I think is incredible. And actually, there's over 750,000 people using this method of giving. Now, for me, whenever I'm kind of looking at kind of behavior, I'm looking at why people are doing things that they're doing, really kind of tapping into behaviors. I think being effective in fundraising is about influencing behaviors. And kind of reading an article that was written by the Behavioral Insights team and the Charity Aid Foundation, it came up with 4 different kind of insights into why people donate to charity. And for me, when I was looking at those 4 different things, it kind of really reinforced for me why payroll giving was such an incredible way to donate to charity. Because first of all, we need to make it easy. Procrastination is literally the arch enemy of fundraising. What we need to do is we need to make a process that's easy for people to do, and payroll giving does that. I've done it myself. I literally had to write 4 charities that I'd like to donate on a sheet of paper, how much I'd like to donate to that charity, and that was it. There was no bank charges, there was no details. Someone else did the paperwork for me. The next thing you need to do is attract attention. And I think the best way of attracting attention is to talk to people about what interests them. Now, what's the best thing to talk about to Brits? Well, something that they'd probably like to have a bit of a moan about. And really, what do we love moaning about the most? Tax. Talking to people about tax and how the government is spending it or not spending it and what they're spending it on, and about how this long list of charities is actually spending their money more wisely on greater causes, is absolutely brilliant. It's almost poetic. And the next thing is you need to focus on the social. And for me, when you look at the numbers of the gender divide between men and women and who donate through payroll giving, it's actually more on the male side. There's 3.4% of men and 2.2% of women. And that's actually come down a lot over the last few years. It was a lot bigger kind of 10 years ago. There's a lot of kind of people that have said that's because there's more women now in the workplace, in the formal workplace anyway. But for me, I really think that it's about getting 10 competitive, ego-driven men into a room and seeing who can outdo each other. I'll leave you to decide which one it is. And the next thing is Royal Mail. So they're an absolutely incredible advocate for payroll giving. They've actually got 38,000 donors as we speak, and they retain a Guinness World Record for the amount of people that donate through payroll giving. What an incredible thing to say about the organisation they work for, that you have a Guinness World Record for the amount of money that you guys donate to charity. And the last thing, and the lesson that I learned with Roy, is that timing is everything. I think face-to-face fundraising is brilliant because you can tell stories. But not only that, you can tell stories that are relevant to the situation that you're in. And when you've got a list of charities, that are, as long as you're on, there's going to be at least one of those there that is going to inspire someone, is going to be topical, or is going to be something that is that person is kind of going through at that moment in their life. So, money. So the last 10 years, payroll giving has been on the increase. Every single year, there's been more and more money donated through this form. Now, the mathematicians out there, or the people that are a little bit savvy, might realise that, well, actually, between 2013 and 2014, it's decreased. And that was due to 2012, 2013. There was someone that donated £20 million. Absolutely incredible, but it was a bit unfortunate because they couldn't find someone to do that the following year. I think the big thing is that employers match their donation. Employers are actually matching 7.5 million every single year. When kind of you're in a position where you can get your boss to pay out more money, I think people will kind of snap that up. And 48% of those employers actually pay all of the administration costs. Part of that is probably due to the value of each donation. It's £8 against a £5 cash donation. And excusing the pun at the bottom, Royal Mail delivering an absolute result. They have donated £50 million via payroll giving to 975 different charity organisations. So I think when you combine all of these things and you make a form of fundraising that's easy, it attracts a lot of attention. It focuses on a social kind of gathering, and it's really well timed. You've got a force to be reckoned with. Now, I wish I'd thought of payroll giving. Unfortunately, I think I wouldn't have done as good of a job, as payroll giving kind of was started up when I was born and emerged into this world. And I think it would have been an interesting proposition from a newborn baby. But it's amazing, it's generating income, and it's changing the world. And that's why I wish I'd thought of it. My name's Chris Taylor. Thank you very much for listening to me and giving me the opportunity to speak.